Listen, Linux users, I am sick of your little memes and you insulting Microsoft. Satya Nadella has been quoted as saying we need to get beyond this argument of slop versus sophistication. You need to stop calling Microsoft's AI integrations sloppy. You've hurt their feelings. Shame on you. We're sick of it. So that is my PSA for this. The CEO of Microsoft has said that you guys, the tech community, need to stop using the word slop. You stop it. And when a CEO of Microsoft tells me to stop doing something, as a Linux user, I listen because Microsoft hearts Linux, as you know. And he wants us, okay, now that we've gotten over that, he wants us to call it, and I'm not making this up, cognitive amplifier tools. So when you're looking at like the new Notepad integrations where they're going to have AI in Notepad, you know, the Notepad tool that is like the most basic of text editor where you put a grocery list, a quick to-do list, or some other garbage into that really doesn't matter. They have AI in that now, and you call that cognitive amplifier tool. So where you would put slop typically, now, say it with me if you're watching this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cognitive amplifier slop. Tools. It's hilarious if you didn't see this headline. And I love the tech community because unlike my PSA at the beginning, now that they've put that out there, Satya has put that out there, everyone is making nonstop memes about it, and he's made it 1,000 times worse. You know, when you can't even find what settings you're supposed to use in Windows 11 without 3 reboots and a blood sacrifice to find out, is it the control panel settings, but not that control panel settings, the one that gives me more detailed settings, or the other settings that I need to get into. Like, Microslop actually is the greatest term I've ever heard for most of Microsoft's products. Now, that is not to say Microsoft doesn't make some killer software. Microsoft Excel, fight me on this, I'll die on this hill, is incredible software. Like, I love Microsoft Excel. I think it's amazing. It doesn't do everything I've ever wanted, no. But by the time their cognitive amplification tools are integrated into it, who knows what Excel will become. So today we're going to look at why Microslop is trending, why Microsoft is shoving AI into things that literally don't need it, and why the slop is the best advertisement for Linux that we've seen in a decade. And, well, if you've seen the recent Steam charts and things, just from the gaming side of stuff, Windows is not really doing what it's wanting to do with this AI thing. It's making more people come over to Linux, and, well, that makes me happy. So for the uninitiated, slop is the new spam. We all know spam. You get your spam calls, you get your spam in the email. It's worthless, it's annoying, it's low effort, and AI-generated garbage is what we call the slop, which means that it provides zero value. But Microsoft is like, let's take it a step further. They're not just going to generate slop. They're going to integrate this slop into their operating system itself. And the problem isn't just that the majority of it is completely worthless. That is a problem, but that's not the entirety of the problem. We know AI isn't perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. It hallucinates, it makes things up, and it's programmed by companies with their own agendas and bias that get all of this stuff interweaved into this AI thing. And then you have your everyday layman who, they know technology as far as they can turn on their phone, they can get to their messages, they may even struggle resetting their phone. And you have this thing out there that everyone's saying is so intelligent, is so smart, is so ingenious, and so people just trust it with no reference or research. And this isn't a new problem, it's a symptom of an existing problem. Even when you look out there in the world of just general news and things, or things that people post on social media, they'll take a picture of George Washington and put a quote to it, and then people start retweeting it because it fits their agenda. But then you do research and you find out, well, George Washington never ever said that. But people don't care because it fits their agenda, right? Like, it's It's cool that George Washington would say it. I don't know why George Washington is on my mind. But heck, even in our own Discord chat, where you arguably have far more sophisticated tech enthusiasts in there, there was an argument about AI hallucinations, whether AI hallucinates or not. Someone was trying to make the case that AI hallucinations are a thing of the past. It's about user prompting where there's error, or the user themselves. Now, in fairness, it is true hallucinations have certainly gotten better than when AI first released, and they will continue to improve likely as AI continues to, consume the world. But, ChatGPT in recent studies are still showing a 35% hallucination rate as an example. 35%. That's like saying somebody asks you, do you tell the truth? And you're like, 35% of the time I won't tell you the truth, but the rest of the time I got you. Like, are you going to be, Ryan's a really trustworthy person. He only lies 35% of the time in his videos. The rest of the time he's telling you the truth. That is what we're dealing with AI. And then we have this really big elephant in the room, and it's called security and privacy. And for companies alone, because who cares about consumers, right? I mean, nobody cares about consumers anymore. Somehow, all these companies have all this money and they could care less about the consumer. Did you guys watch CES, by the way? AMD and NVIDIA's presentation? Like, there was nothing consumer-oriented in the Consumer Electronics Show. It was all about AI and server racks and all this crap. Anyway, back to protecting our precious corporations. According to one study, 45% of employees have shared sensitive company data with AI tools. And I bet it's more like 99% because people don't even know most of the time what's considered sensitive to a company. And this is something that I called out very early on that is going to be a problem with AI. So this is what we talk about with AI Slop. When it's thrown into everything, it doesn't just create privacy and security concerns, but it creates concerns with people trusting the fact that they trust unequivocally these AI tools as if they're the end all be all to research. We've all seen in the news the cases of lawyers getting caught utilizing it, where it makes up use cases, not use cases, it makes up cases to utilize in an argument that never existed. This is the type of thing because lawyers who go to a lot of schooling, just like, hey, I'm going to put this prompt in, I'm going to trust whatever it comes out with, I'm going to go in front of a judge and just repeat this slop. And nobody is sitting there going, hey, guardrails, don't use AI like this. It's not supposed to. These companies don't want to do that. They want to tell you, hey, we have a solution just for lawyers that you can use. It's foolproof. Pay us $1,000 a month. You can have access to it because, yes, they have their own AI tools in the lawyer world because I have a friend who's a lawyer and they utilize it. And then we're replacing all of these positions of paralegals and stuff with AI to do this research, but it makes crap up. So we're coming into a weird time period where we just trust this thing. And Microsoft is really the ringleader of throwing AI spaghetti against the wall and hoping that something is going to stick. It's just like, put that crap everywhere. Let's see what people will want. And if they hate it, who cares? Roll with it anyways. And they even try to do some of this kind of like, hey, we're processing a lot of this stuff locally. Don't worry about it. But nobody trusts them anymore. And this is the whole consumer versus corporation thing that has popped up. Like, you've killed consumer trust. And now you're asking them to trust you with the power of these new tools, which are incredibly powerful. I don't hate AI. Let me be very clear. I think it is super cool. And I think it's only going to get cooler, some of the things that it can do. What I'm against is this AI slop. We're not supposed to use that cognitive tool, whatever, that we're supposed to have. Now, 90% of these services that say that they are, not cloud dependent, that they run locally, actually still have some reliance on the cloud. Like, for instance, Copilot Chat Cloud, Microsoft 365 AI Cloud, Windows Search Function, if it includes Bing results. These are all cloud stuff. Then there's services like Recall where they state, oh, these are 100% local MPU. Well, guess what? Microsoft metadata is a big part of Windows. One of the things that a lot of Linux users have complained about Windows for a long time. Metadata being they're constantly sending snippets about what you're doing on your OS back to Microsoft with all kinds of various details. And that metadata hasn't gone away. They haven't turned that stuff off. So when you're using something that's supposed to be, hey, oh my gosh, Microsoft said this runs locally on my MPU. That's fantastic. Well, the metadata goes to the cloud. And let's not forget, these services, even when they run locally, may default local. But if it takes too long in your MPU or it's too complex, it sends it over to, you guessed it, the cloud. And if you use Apple Siri, you know, if you want anything outside of like what time is it, because Apple Siri's got to be the worst implementation of AI ever existence, or a large language model, because none of this is really AI. It immediately asks, do you want me to use ChatGPT for that, for anything that has any complexity at all? So, you know, we've got like Microsoft, you've got Notepad now with integrated Copilot popping up. You've got your search bars with integrated Copilot popping up. You've got advertisements, of course, that are happening on web pages that are extremely troubling. One of them created like a poll on an article about somebody who passed away, like a coach, and it just auto-generated content because MSN can't be bothered, or these other sites, to actually have journalists anymore. Auto-generated content for a poll of how do you think they died type of thing. And this is kind of the nonsense of just pushing AI out, and the also lie that's being told that, hey, this isn't about replacing people's jobs, we're going to enhance them, which is the same lie that I've heard for 30 years in corporate America, except the difference is it was always like, yeah, we're going to outsource this part of your job, but we're only outsourcing the parts that don't require a lot of like thinking and deep thought. We're not going to outsource your position. You're a very highly valued employee. And then, you know, 3 months into it, they outsource your whole job. So like this lie is a perpetual lie that corporations tell all the time, whether it's they're outsourcing or they're bringing in a consultant or whatever it is. It's the same thing. And then there's the agentic OS push, this agentic AI that I've talked about in previous videos, where it's watching everything you do so it can anticipate your needs. And this is basically a keylogger with a marketing budget. I mean, this is, in the cybersecurity world, one of the most dangerous things that I think could possibly be released, outside of recall, where you're literally snapshotting everything that I do on my computer every few seconds. That's pretty dangerous from a security standpoint too. But you know, having basically a keylogger where everything you're doing on your machine is constantly being analyzed by AI. And imagine the resource usage. I mean, what computer could really process all of that constantly locally? You can't. So it's going to send it all out to the cloud. And we know how great companies have kept our information safe, right? Over the years, like they're so good. They have such a great track record. And the irony is that by trying to make Windows smarter, they're actually making it feel more cluttered, more invasive, and more sloppy than ever before. And if you have to beg your customers to stop using derogatory nicknames for your product, the problem isn't your customers. The problem is the product. Microsoft, if you want people to use your AI tools, I'm going to give you free advice. You should pay me millions of free consulting for this. But the most important step here, step one, before implementing AI into any new tool, you should ask yourself, is it actually useful? Step two, remember that privacy and security matters to this generation. And this goes to my most important consulting tip to you. Stop ignoring the consumer by sucking up all the resources to build out this AI, driving costs to unimaginable levels as you companies spread your fake money around to other corporations. Like every other week, it's like AMD's giving $30 billion to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is giving $30 billion. Gamers Nexus does an amazing job covering all of that conspiracy there. It's not conspiracy, fact of all of this money, same amount of money that just keeps moving between these corporations to pump each other's stock up. But not only that, the water usage, water supply usage impacts this is happening with all these data centers, the job impacts this is happening, the energy costs, all of our energy is going up. All of this crap is costing the consumer, who is already on their knees begging for help, And now you've got all these hardware costs, you know, the SSDs now spiking through the roof, RAM spiking through the roof, to the point where the biggest conspiracy is you won't have any ability to build your own computer. You're just going to have some edge computer device that connects to the internet, and all the processing will be, which I know companies like Microsoft would absolutely love. Here's the truth. AI is here to stay. It's cool in many ways. I'm not here to say stop using AI. You can't use AI. AI is all crap. That's not the point here. AI has a lot of cool use cases, and I think they're only going to get cooler. I think when you look at solving things like cures for cancer and other stuff, you know, AI has the ability in the future to be something that makes a big impact on mankind. However, by shoveling this garbage out there and utilizing it for everything, and using all this mass amounts of energy and resources and all of this stuff at this point of it, just to build out more garbage and implementing it in places that we don't need it. When I'm in my browser and I'm asking basic questions, I don't need an AI prompt and all the GPUs and energy to power all of that to answer me there. Besides the fact that eventually you're just going to be putting every actual journalist and person who creates content out of business, because AI just sucks it up and puts it out in a prompt. Nobody clicks on the websites with the ads, and those companies go out of business. Like, where's all the new content going to come from? I think what people are asking for is, like, we can't stop this train, but we can make sure that it's safely guided on the tracks. Have some restraint, have some common sense. That's what I think people are asking for. That's my free, you could send your check to me, $1 million of consulting for you, Microsoft. And then you have a lot more people jumping on board when they see that you actually took time to think, is this useful? Does it help the consumer? And how can we put guardrails in place to make sure it's not used for nonsense? But what do you think? You're my community. You're my listeners. Is Microslop a fair critique? Or is it just mean tech enthusiasts being grumpy? Let me know in the comments. And if you're tired of the slop, maybe it's time to finally wipe that drive and install Linux on there and come to the other side of the bridge where all the cool people hang out. We have cookies. We have open source. It's pretty cool over here. I'm out. Stay geeky. Fill your brains.